Saber, a young woman clothed in crimson raiment, with the mannerisms of a man, the servant is best suited for novice players. Partner with the servant? Yes, we are. And with that, I want to welcome you back to Fate Extra, everybody. And this is and we're almost caught up with up to part 7, where I originally recorded. About 3 more parts to go before I get to part 7. So, yeah. So let's start this adventure, shall we? With Saber. If you somehow got here and you picked the bottom option, then I'm sorry. I will fix that if you leave a comment. Rest above free. In that moment, gentle days end. I awakened very abruptly. I don't even think I dream. I suddenly find myself walking to school. My headache worsens day by day until it finally buzzes in my head like an alarm. That day, in potent numbness, I wake up twice as fast as normal. I walk to the schoolyard. It's clear and cloudless, 7:30 a.m. But what season is it? When I try to recall what season it is, I start to get so dizzy I almost pass out. I may wind up back in bed if I let go and faint. For some time, I've been embracing a rush of useless information. The normal stuff you'd see at school, like the hustle and bustle of my classmates by the entrance. It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. When I push the thought, my field of vision fizzles. Today, there's a crowd of students milling in the front of the school gate, and more are being directed that way. As to what's going on, there's a boy in a black uniform in front of the school gate. He's my friend, as I recall. He's Issei Ryudo, as I recall. I remember this from the first time. When Issei notices me looking at him, he pushes through the crowd. Notice how many people are grayed out. Good morning. Lovely weather we're having, don't you think? Why do you look so surprised? We announced at last week's assembly that this month the student council would strictly enforce school rules. He runs through his spiel as if this was the first time he'd ever disclosed the information. I already know this. I know it. I already know what happens. It's happened more than once. I'm seized by a headache. I'm so dizzy I feel like I'm being forcibly logged down my consciousness. First, let me check your student ID. I shouldn't need to remind you, but it should be on you at all times. My login ID is being checked. It's so obvious now. I answer clearly to the question that usually makes me go dizzy. For Saber's side, I'll be doing female MC. And I will be going with, well, my character's name in PSL2, or Phantasy Star Online 2. That character's name is Pascal, and of course, I can't just say that she's my character without adding, well, since I'm the one who made her in the first place, I'm gonna add Raga to the end of it, because why the fuck not? I know it's not proper Japanese, but whatever. Her actual name is just Pascal, but I might as well just put in the last name. It feels weird not to. As for nickname, we'll just go with Pascal. Now, the first time I recorded this, I was really tempted on going with Paz, and then I just chose to go with Pascal. So that's what I'm just going to stick with. This is okay. Yeah. Great, there's no telling when an emergency might occur, and it will immediate help if you have your ID. I feel nauseous, and I know it has nothing to do with what I ate for breakfast this morning. I feel nauseous because of the world around me. It's repeating itself over and over, and that's making me sick. Now for the uniform inspection. Color, check. Pant helms, check. And socks, check. I'm not wearing pants. I'm wearing a skirt, you knob. I want him to get out of my way. I want this repetition to stop. I push him aside and go forward. I'm not nice about it either. Next is the contents of your bag. Notebooks, textbooks, pencil box. Not even a whiff of contraband. Your nails are evenly cut and your haircut is sensible. Indeed, quite remarkable. You're a model Tsugimi Hara Academy student. He keeps on talking loudly even though no one's even though he's facing no one. I have a headache. I'm shivering. I know one thing for sure. This is wrong. This is not the school I know. It can't be. I have to go. I have to hurry and wake up, or else it will be too late. But who am I wakening up for? Awakening up for? That's really weird writing. My anxiety and headaches are only getting worse. Afternoon arrives while I desperately try to find a way out to escape this bizarre situation. As is now the norm, my vision is overlaid with some kind of unnatural distortion. Uneasiness, futility, emptiness. I want someone to explain to me the true nature behind all of these feelings. There must be a key somewhere, something that will have all the answers to my questions. Fucking Mr. Tittles plushie. And this is Jackass's desk. Anyways, so to say. So I believe you cannot redo the events here. Let's see. No, you cannot. Okay. So if you didn't do those events and I did back in part 3, you can't do these events now. The moment I step foot on the first floor, my feelings of unease intensify. There is a student wearing a red uniform. Leo, the new transfer student. The instant I lay eyes on him, I immediately feel intimidated and humiliated. There's also someone trailing behind him. He looks like one of my classmates. The more I think, the more I realize that Leo isn't the only anomaly I've come across while on campus. There are other things that seem off as well. It's becoming clearer now. There are people who shouldn't exist, students that mysteriously vanish. The fabric of reality is coming unraveled. Don't turn away right now. What is the truth? Don't turn away now. What defines the world you know? Don't turn away now. There is a reason why you're here. Come, don't allow yourself to close your eyes to the truth. Leo and one of the guys from my class are talking in the hallway up ahead. The attention to detail is quite impressive. Even the surrounding air is surprisingly substantial. If that's the case, this world is in some ways more real than the real world it represents. How about you guys? What are your thoughts about this? You guys? For a moment it feels as if he's including me in his comment. However, Leo begins speaking to my classmate, seemingly oblivious to my presence. Greetings, I believe this is the first time we've had an actual conversation. Leo gives me a smile with no hostility. However, I have the suspicion that there's something malicious behind his smile. Attending school wasn't half bad. I've never had the opportunity to go to one before now. In that respect, this has been quite an interesting experience. However, the time for fun has come to an end. I did not come here to play at being a student. No matter how enjoyable the detour, eventually one must return to the appointed path. And for me, the time to do so has arrived. With those final words, Leo turns his back on me. Farewell. Now, that's not quite right. I don't think farewell would be accurate in this situation. For reasons I cannot explain, I have the distinct feeling that we will see each other again. So I guess I should use the more congenial "see you later." Well, it's time for me to move on. I wish you the best of luck. Oh shit, hang on. Sorry about that. Leo said as much, even going so far to look in my direction. For some inexplicable reason, I'm not surprised that Leo knew I was spying on him. I am trying to get things straightened out in my heart. I'm trying to get things straightened out in my mind when Leo suddenly disappears. The student who was following him also disappears after touching the same spot on the wall. At the same moment he vanishes, my vision distorts and the shock threatens to overwhelm me. What is going on here? I I wonder if this place is the source of my unease. Oh my god. Like him, I placed my hand on the wall, expecting to be drawn in. I see now that the way to the truth, to why I have these feelings, begins right here. I want to know. Of course I want to know. The atmosphere changes. There's a doorway, an entrance, where the concrete wall used to be. There's no setting of this world. There's no doubt that this door leads to someplace unfathomable. Unfathomable! Ugh! I bid farewell to the false world and take my first step toward the truth. An entrance to another world. Beyond this door, the previous statement perfectly describes the view before me. Walking behind me is my strange, silent attendant. It is to be my sword and shield for what lies ahead, a disembodied voice suddenly converges my thoughts. Although I have yet to learn anything, I need to do something besides stand here. At the very least, there might be some clues to this bizarre experience up ahead. I have no choice but to head into the darkness with only the strange doll's protection. And I'm going to mute myself. No longer a typical school campus, the floors and walls, the air, even the aura are slightly off. It wouldn't surprise me to see a monster pop out from the shadows. It's very much like a dungeon here. Welcome, potential master. With a shocking suddenness, a voice began speaking. It sounds like it's coming from the empty sky above. If you are looking for answers, you must reach the goal. Now please step forward. Oh my god, I love that beginning part. That's the reason why I muted myself, because that's like signifies this is not the same thing anymore. We've actually broken out of this monotony. The illuminated cube in front of you is called an item folder. Inside of it is a farewell present of sorts for those who are about to face the coming trial. Touch it to open it. Now you walk up to it and press X. You get an ether shard. Before you is an enemy program. It is programmed to attack on sight. Touching it will initiate a battle. But you won't actually fight as you are too fragile. The effigy given to you will fight in your stead. If your effigy is ever destroyed in battle, you will no longer be shielded from harm. To put it bluntly, you will die, so be very careful in battle. But there's no need to be afraid, for now. Just do what I say and you'll be perfectly safe for the time being. First off, why don't I explain a little bit about battles? First of all, there are 3 basic commands that you can issue in battle. Attack, guard, and break. Each chart in battle is composed of 6 actions, and you'll need to tell your effigy what your strategy is to be. And I can basically explain, so yeah. You have 6 commands being issued each turn. They'll all be executed once when you confirm them. You have the choice of picking all 3 options, and the game will explain what beats out what and what won't, and what loses against what. Skills are also if you press skills, you can you can heal your, I guess at this point, effigy with an item of sort, or you can use something to raise your stats. However, you can either heal them with an item, or you can do something with their status, or heal them with an item, or use something that we don't have yet. Only once per turn. You can't use an item and then also use the thing that we will be getting later, something that we will be getting later on the same turn. You have the master the master can basically only interfere once each turn. So yeah. The enemy before you should be quite easy to defeat, as it will only perform Break. Break, which is focused solely on power, shouldn't be much of a problem against attack. Now, use the attack command to destroy the program. Directional buttons to select, and rather press X. Fine, I will. So to quickly explain how the battle works in this game, it's like a glorified rock, paper, scissors. So, attack beats break. Attack beats break, break beats guard, guard beats attack. Since it's doing all attacks, doing all breaks, I can just do this. And may I mention that the music in this game is amazing. I'm trying not to dance because it will pick up the sound from my bed, since I don't really have a computer desk that I can record at. So, how did it go? One thing to know is that in each turn, you'll have to plan a series of 6 moves that will defeat your foe. The goal is still straight ahead. If you must bask in the afterglow of your victory, do so while moving forward. Open break by using attack command. Again, it's just glorified rock, paper, scissors, and for some reason, I really like this game for that. I don't know. In Phoenix or CCC, the quote-unquote sequel for this game did it even better. Oh look, here comes another program. You seem nervous. Perhaps you are anxious about fighting in another battle. Do not be alarmed. That enemy isn't strong enough to hurt you. It is programmed to only use attack. While attack is a potent action, using guard will allow you to defend and counterattack. Guard can be used to reduce damage caused by an enemy attack, but I trust you know this. And you can use guard to block the attack command, and then counterattack at the same time. That's basically what that said. Now that you know how this battle will unfold, use the appropriate command to defeat the enemy program. I feel like I'm gonna keep changing his voice. I'll definitely hear it in the playback while I'm cringing like a motherfucker. I still kind of like how the guard thing for the effigy. It's just this is a giant kick to the face. Okay, so critical shifts tend to just randomly happen. Sometimes, I swear. Yes, that's exactly right. As you may have already noticed, performing 3 successful chain actions in a row will result in a chain. By performing multiple chain attacks, you can perform a devastating follow-up attack on your opponent. 3 checks in a row, you'll perform an extra attack, which will do more damage than any attack that you've already done. While doing multiple chain attacks in a heated battle may be difficult, the result to make it worth the effort. Now, please proceed. Oh my god. So yeah, I am approaching pretty fast to where I am getting to, which I hope I get to part 7 tonight. And I might record part 9, because I recorded part 7 and 8 at last night, so yeah. You should be used to the fundamentals of battle at this point, but I'll walk you through this one last time. This program will only use guard, and do nothing in battle but defend against harm. But no matter how stout one's defense may be, it will be not against the break command. You can shatter enemies by using the break command, blah blah blah. Remember, always use your appropriate command for any given situation. Okay, I'm not gonna keep saying for that little cutscene. Boom. You have been through 3 battles and have used the attack, guard, and break commands. Someone as intuitive and observant as you must have already noticed this. Each attacks balance each other out, creating a situation where no attack is dominant. That's... well, 3 ways to enough. Yeah, they have an immutable relationship with one another, but that's not quite true, as some moves are are better than others, and that is within the skill category, but I'll explain that later. What I just covered is the absolute basics of battle, and the minimum info you'll need to know. Once you master the basics, all that's left is to test yourself in battle and gain valuable experience. Now, please proceed. Gotta keep that EXP, man. It is a fucking RPG game. All of the enemy programs you faced so far only use 1 move, which won't happen in a real fight. For the most part, actually. Some of the enemies basically use only 2 moves and some other strings. Like you, your enemies will choose their actions based on the situation and general observation. Their actions will be very difficult for you to predict at first. As you face the same enemy multiple times, you will be able to read their tendencies and patterns accurately. When you first enter battle, your opponent's move will be mostly hidden from you. Being able to guess your opponent's moves with only a limited amount of info is the key to victory. Although, considering your lack of fighting experience, I may be expecting far too much from you. But anyway, please try your best. So this thing is going to be doing That's how you counter him. Most likely. If not, fuck me. Ooh, excuse me. I just ate. Not too long ago. So I don't know what I'm going to do with Fate Extra CCC. I might decide to play it here even though I can't read Japanese. I don't know, I may play it. Good job. Alright then, please proceed to the final room. I don't know, this game just feels like a breath of fresh air recording it compared to GS Zafarios. It really is. I made it. At the end of a very long road, after going through a door that suddenly appeared in the wall, the oppressive air of this place where spirits of the dead still linger. Here's my goal. That's what I thought. Hey, look, the guy we were playing in for those past 3 days. 4 days, I guess. Further in, it appears as if someone had collapsed. When I look into his face, it's the student who was just following Leo just now. I call out to him, but get no reply. I shake him and attempt to wake him up when I notice he's stone cold. I go pale as the corpse before me, and I no longer can think coherently. All I can do is stare in bewilderment. It is at this moment the fallen effigy lying next to the male student comes to its feet with a clatter. After having to fight several enemy programs to get here, it's obvious that this thing is an enemy as well. Without warning, it suddenly twists right around and comes right at me. So, believe it or not, even if you do very well, even if you somehow beat this, it's scripted that you lose. So at one point, it will just start reading your opponents. So yeah, no matter what, it's still just gonna get you killed, so I'm gonna die anyway, so if it guards again, then yeah, it's reading my inputs. See? You seem to be lacking as well. I can hear the sound of a distant voice. The time has come. With your inevitable loss, I will consider this round of the preliminaries to be over. Farewell. I'll pray you'll find peace in your annihilation. That is the voice's final words to me. I don't have the power to protest. All I can do is stare at the floor. I think I'm going to die here. Suddenly, at the edge of my now hazy vision, a number of brown-colored lumps seemed to rise from the ground. Actually, it might be I just noticed them now. They may be there from the very beginning, for all I know. Those lumps are the bodies of the untold number of fallen Tsukimihara Academy students. The guy before me wasn't the only one to fall. All of the others made it here and died, unable to do anything. In a very short while, I suppose I'll become one of them. Maybe I should just close my eyes now. I did all that I could, so maybe it'd be better for it to just end now. See here. So, picking the first option ends with a dead end. So, yeah. I refuse to give up. I refuse to give up. I summon all of my strength in an attempt to get back on my feet. However, as I try to move, an unbearably intense pain shoots through my entire body. If that's how it's going to be. No, if this is... Still, I refuse to give up. I don't want it to end like this. I cannot ignore the pain coursing through my body. I feel like I've reached the point where I can no longer see stars, as my eyes feel like they're on fire. I feel like all 5 senses are being ripped from my body. I'm afraid. I'm afraid of the pain. I'm afraid of losing my senses. I'm afraid of becoming a corpse. And the most terrifying thing, disappearing without a trace, without any reason at all. It's not right that I disappear here. My consciousness, shot through with waves of distortion, screams out against the injustice of it all. What's the purpose of suffering through those headaches just to fade away here and now? What were they all for if I just fade away here and now? I have to stand up. It's okay if I'm scared. It's okay if I'm in pain. I have to rise above all that. Because I have yet to fight of my own volition on my own terms.
死の淵において恐れを抱き、恐れを飲みながらなお戦うか。